COSM continuing to break out of those two bullish formations that we were looking at just yesterday. Let's go ahead and go over the probabilities for tomorrow's session. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with a COSM, technicals, raw price action, and statistical threat of analysis on this Taco Tuesday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Hey, what's up, guys? All right, so COSM on the buy daily here. We were looking at this just yesterday. This is the reversion variant indicator, right? The one that I actually have an algo for. So we were looking at yesterday the potential of topping out anywhere between $3.48 to around $3.60. So $3.65, sorry, of which we made $3.60. All right, so this is looking good, and also I do see momentum suggesting a continuation to the upside. We're knocking at the door of the mean band here at around 348. It feels like it's only a matter of time before we actually make a cross upside of this band here. But let's verify this. Okay, let's continue on the analysis and continue collecting our puzzle pieces. Okay, so I actually found something very interesting here. So remember yesterday we were talking about two separate formations, right? The bull cases. This is the larger, this is the larger falling wedge on the daily chart opposed to the smaller one in the 8-hour chart, right? Okay, so let's go back to this chart here, and I would like to show you something very interesting. So we actually made it into the Gaussian channel, right? So now we're the red cloud, right? So now we're inside of the Gaussian channel on the daily chart. But I would like to show you something on the 8-hour, which shows kind of one of the reasons why we were having some trouble getting inside of it in the first place, right? So please notice here that we're still kind of resisting from that area of about $3.50. Okay, so we're still resisting the mean band here from the 8-hour Gaussian channel. Okay, so what I can tell you is that when we have made a move upside of the Gaussian channel and verified it or confirmed it as a support, we have made some pretty nice moves to the upside, right? A few here actually. So I'm not sure that I want to. I mean, it is a substantial move to the upside here, right? So we actually came back down. We succeeded. It came back down, resisted, and we finally made that upside, right? This is not the run that we got at the split. Okay, so this is the run that we got at the split on January 25th. Okay, so not to be mistaken with that. So this is actually a whole separate iteration there. Okay, so yeah, I mean, as you can see, anytime that we have moved upside of it, we make some pretty nice moves to the upside. And I'm particularly mentioning this right now because we are knocking at the door of that mean band right now. Okay, so there is the chance to where we can actually make up ourselves right upside of that and close above $3.50, which would then kind of indicate a potential upside continuation in a violent manner if it does meet that criteria, of course. Okay, so now let's move on to the shorter time frame falling wedge, right? So we officially have a breakout here. Okay, so we were expecting this from yesterday's analysis and actually 2 days ago, since we were right at the 65 to 70% mark to the apex of the triangle. The likelihood or the probability started kind of favoring the bulls in this case, right? So I want to point out that we still have an upside pivot here from the EMA3 and the SMA14, which pertain to the indicators stochastic momentum. And what that usually suggests is kind of a continuation to the upside. That is our direction bias. And the signal, very curious here that the signal for the 206% move to the upside that we actually ran a back test for on the 8-hour chart of COSM throughout the entire trading history of it. Let me just give you the context real fast, right? So we would definitely need for both of the volatility component and the moving average to be upside the area of about at least 10%, right? So this is the 10 percentile. The moving average is right. I mean, it's very much close to it. The volatility component itself is above the 15%, which is already suggesting a continuation to the upside. This means increasing volatility. It does not mean direction of the asset. Remember that volatility is direction neutral. Okay, what we use for that direction bias is the stochastic momentum. Another thing that I do want to point out here is that, yes, while we're facing a little bit of an ebb and flow here from the bulls are absolutely sitting at about 25%. Both on the ADX and on the bulls moving average. So this is trending market for the bulls even still. Okay, but that doesn't mean that we can't actually face a potential drawback temporarily, right? So very, very close to closing potential bearish engulfing here, but we succeeded the upside of that, and that's very impressive there. Okay, so what I mean by actually coming back down to an area, if it does happen, meaning that if the sentiment feels that that's actually a potential, then it would be in respects to breaking out of this formation here and then coming back down to it to test, even if it was just one wick, to test the bottom side of this area here at about 325. We spoke yesterday about the potential of coming back down and then rising up to the top to around that $3.65 level where the SMA 50 was located on the, I believe it was here actually. It doesn't matter. We were looking at it just yesterday, and that 365 was actually the level that we were looking at, right? So let's go ahead and continue on the analysis here because there is something to look at here within the RSI. So the immediate short-term time frame RSI is suggesting a continuation to the upside on that 30-minute. In fact, we can actually open up the 30-minute and bring it into the 12-hour and see what we have here, okay? Because oh, yeah, we definitely do. Okay, so what I'm looking at here is, so particularly from, let me get rid of these lines real fast right here, right? So I'm looking at drives of regular bullish divergence. So it's definitely in play right now. So it would be consistent to this peak down here, right? Which is right at this, at that candle there, right? So it would be now connected at this bottom peak here, which would be this one here. Okay, so what that makes is a lower low in price action, and it's creating a higher low in momentum. That divergence is a drive of bullish, regular bullish divergence. Okay, so that indicates a potential upside, and there are several of them. Of course, I just mentioned one here, but they are kind of stacking, right? This would be another one right over here. So you're actually very, very close to being one. All right, this is another one right here. This is another one right here. So there's a few of them kind of stacking up towards, to favor the bulls here. So let's go back and continue the other time frames. So the 4-hour time frame is suggesting a pullback here, but please remember that 4 hours tend to kind of realize just within the 1 day period. And there could be a support found here by the middle of the session, actually, right at that gravitational zone, which could of the bull's weakness percentile, right? The 14-day simple could very well be located there mid-session tomorrow, in which case we would use as a support and then continuation onto the upside, right? So now the 8-hour time frame is suggesting that slight pullback as well. This one is not as strong, though, because it is sitting in the gravitational zone of the bull weakness percentile, which would essentially push us to the top. Right, so this could be waiting for the influence from the shorter time frame. Now, as we move on to the daily time frame just definitely has an upside pivot here. Very, very important that we crossed above the 14-day simple moving average on the bi-daily iteration here. It's still suggesting upside, very nice. And please notice, yesterday we talked about the 5-day making a very bullish cross upside of the 14-day simple moving average, and we were sitting right in the gravitational zone of the bear strength percentile. Right, so now we actually got pulled into the following zone. So, I mean, arguably, we're still within the gravitational zone, so we can actually still get pulled up a little more. Okay, so please remember that I did mention a potential short-term pullback, but I don't see that as a bad thing. Of course, anything can invalidate my thesis in the markets, guys. Just know that there is a potential here that we can actually come back and retest that 325 or 330 before a continuation to the upside, right? So in this particular case, we have a 330 support here. The 325 325 would be located right around here, which is consistent to this candle low here. Okay, so you can see it right in the L right up there, and you can see 325, right? So it is also consistent with the closing of this candle here, right? So the opening of this candle here, sorry. So you can see that on the O, and you can see there that it's 324. So very, very likely for us to kind of find that area here. The high of this one is 324 here, you know, and yeah, so it kind of rhymes there. There are a lot of there's a lot of confluence within that target, right? So 327 to the bottom of this candle here. The closing of this candle, 327 as well. So yeah, very likely we can find a support touch there, or if not even a little bit higher, and then continue on to the upside. It's still looking very good, you guys. Please remember that I still have about 1 or 2 seats left in the ArcMasters trading course. Find the email in the description below and get yourself enrolled, right? So the first week already started on Sunday, but that was just the introduction, just to kind of introduce everybody to the syllabus and to the course material. And we will be continuing on to next week with candle analysis, right? So let's go ahead and please remember first and foremost, right? I'm not a financial advisor. Remember, guys, I cannot suggest for you to buy or sell any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence. Everything will be cool. All right, you guys. But with that said, I wish you well, a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.